Hi guys, John here again with another video. This time I'm talking to Roger Hanson, an old friend of mine who has been a moderator on my Facebook group, and I can't remember, was he moderator on my YouTube channel? I can't remember now. Can't remember about that, a while back. Anyway, the guy has got loads of channels. He's into gaming like myself. He's into paranormal like myself. He's got channels, lots of channels. Two of them are on my featured channels on the Wonderful World of Weirdness. They're on there if you want to see what they're like. And anyway, so here's Roger. Roger, do you want to just introduce yourself, what you're about and stuff?
Yeah, my name's Roger Hanson, and I'm not a moderator on your YouTube, but I am a moderator on your Discord. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah, you are still, but in the past, I mean, you were.
okay.
Yeah, you used
So,
to be, didn't
yeah, I know it's been a long time ago. I don't know the exact day, but I started a YouTube channel, and I had a Facebook group and a Facebook page for a while called The Strange, the Bizarre, the Unusual, I Like It. And it stayed that name until the last year, and I ended up changing it from that to Strange Stories on YouTube, and I'm no longer on Facebook anymore. I gave up that group and that channel. But besides that, I've also been on the Praetorian, which is another channel that I have. And at one time, that was about politics, but I walked away from the whole politics thing. So now that's about ancient history and science and things of that nature. And then, well, as you know, you were on my storytelling channel on YouTube, John. So
you? Yeah.
I had you on there, and what I do on there is I have people tell their life story if they want, and if they don't do that, then I go through some of the stuff that I write, like fiction and stuff like that, play around with it with narrator and background music and stuff. So I do that, and then the gaming, like you said, but we don't need to get into all that.
Yeah.
If if you guys do want to know who I am on gaming, though, I go by Infamous, and my gaming channel is Gaming with Infamous. So, but I like my uh, Strange Stories channel better. So check that out. It's got the good stuff.
Yeah. Juicy stuff.
Yeah.
So, Roger, when I talked to you about doing an interview, you said yourself, your spiritual story is not like your exact words, juicy story, then so to speak. But
Yeah.
I did remember you saying that it started with you something when you were healing. You were getting over some sort of event and you were healing. Did it? Is that right, or have I got that wrong?
No,
No. Okay.
I'm
I just go.
not. um, when it comes to my the spiritual part of my life, where it really happened was with my drug and alcohol addiction. I've mentioned it to you before in my past,
Right.
where um, most of my childhood, from the age of 13 up until the age of 30, was pretty much consumed with alcohol and drugs. And finally, I ended up sobering up in June of 2003, and I've been sober ever since.
No, Fiddles.
Um, but before that, that was all there was. So there wasn't really very much of a spiritual life when it comes to me, you know. Um, but as I uh, sobered up and everything, I started learning about spiritual principles through 12 step programs and stuff like that. And I do have spiritual beliefs, but um, they're they're kind of different from what everybody's used to hearing. You know what I mean? Like, for one thing, when it comes to religions, okay, the beliefs that I have, they they agree pretty much with every uh, religious belief there is, to be honest with you. But there's just one thing, they also go against the grain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, the everything that I learned from spiritual principles is kind of like, uh, for the people that I learned it from, they explain it like it's a direct link straight to, your God, the God of your understanding, God, your higher power, however you want to call
Yeah.
them. It's it's really strange how that works, and that kind of conflicts with religious people too. They don't really like hearing that. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um, then you have, well, for example, me and Karma, we sometimes get into conversations about that, and especially when it comes to like robots big on having like spiritual experiences through drug experimentation and stuff, and I'm
Mm.
like, I just can't believe in that because I've had a bad experience in my life when it comes to any mind altering drugs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me to believe that, I just can't, because I I've had situations where I've learned that sober thinking is more than just drugs and alcohol. So I've had to live a life of sober thinking, which is completely the opposite of what he believes.
Yeah.
And because of that, I've had to learn to keep keep. It's okay to have my head up in the clouds, but I have to have my feet firmly on the ground too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't.
We
I
all do.
can't. Yeah. Like, I got to have balance in my life and stuff. And if I don't do that, then I could easily just slip off into another world where I tell myself it's okay to do this,
Mm.
then it's okay to do this, then it's okay, and eventually I'm back to where I used to be. So
Yeah.
that's just kind of like a short breakdown. I could spend hours talking about that, but if you can get anything from that,
Well, funny enough, I've given up drinking. How many years is it now? 8 years now. 8 years this month actually since I gave up drinking. I was never a heavy drinker the last 3 years of my drinking years. Because I was dry. I had a driving job and I was driving a lot for work. But I tell you this now, I wouldn't even have the wonderful world of witness if I'd still been a drinker. It wouldn't have happened because it made me like moody, so to speak, when
hmm,
I after drinking. And you could, as you know, some of the comments I've told you about I used to get on the wonderful work, the trolls and stuff. You imagine how I would have dealt with them if I'd have had a skinful of beer inside me. I would have been banned. Could have banned me years ago,
yeah,
So just as well,
yeah,
I didn't drink back then because I would have been up in hearts. So,
yeah,
but I just wouldn't have done it. It's like it takes your energy. It lowers your frequency. That then I think drinking can do. But people who want to drink, it's for them. If that's what it's for them, it's for them. If people want to take drugs, it's for them. I don't take drugs. No, I haven't. I've never taken. I never have taken them ever. Anyway, but
hmm,
it's for them. And the same with religion. If religion is for some people, it's for them. It's fine. But don't push your views on me because I'm not. I'm not that person because I don't believe in religions either. That's why I share that with
exactly.
you. Ever since I
And
left the
see,
religion that I told you about in 94, 85, um, I no, I don't believe in any specific religion, but believe in God, higher power. Yes, of course I do. I got no doubt about that. But actual set religion, no, it's just not for me. But if it's fine for my neighbour next door or across the road, then it's totally fine. Everyone's different. Everyone's got their own paths. Everyone's got that. In my view, it's just my
hmm,
perspective of it all. But so I totally agree with you there, because I'm on that thing that you don't need to be in a specific religion to find God or find your spirituality or what have you. For me,
Exactly.
in fact, I got a greater walk with the higher power than I ever would have, I think, if I'd have stayed in the religion that I was in. That's just me, you know.
Yeah.
But so what sort of have you had spiritual experiences then? Have you had any to make you?
Well, I can say when I look back on a lot of stuff, like for me, whenever I was a kid, I mentioned it on our last roundtable for my channel, and it kind of stuck out to me when I was about 13. Um, that was probably one of the first things, and I think that that was something that really spoke out to me. Like we just moved to Arizona, and we were living at the time. The place was called Higley, Arizona, but since then it was incorporated into the nearby town Gilbert. And when we were living there, it was called Higley, and um, we were living on a dairy farm because my dad was a milkman, and he uh, he had us living on the dairy because usually dairymen would let their workers live on the property rent free. That's what we did, and just down the way there was an irrigation canal, and it was the first time that we lived there. We just moved from Florida to Arizona, so I wasn't used to the heat, and all I kept seeing was that irrigation canal and how nice it would be to jump into it. So one day I went out and I took these planks and I tried to make a little raft with a tire underneath it that would float. And when I did, I used ropes to tie it all together, man, and I had it all planned out. I took it out there, put it over there, and I was going to sit on top of it like a raft, and the thing came out from underneath me, and I fell right into the water. And the surface of that canal was like slippery with moss from the
Uh,
water. And no matter how hard I tried, I just could not get up that side because they were sloped. If anybody's lived out in the desert, they know what I'm talking about. They're sloped at an angle to where it's hard for you to climb up it. And I honestly thought I was going to die. I was a 13-year-old kid trapped in this water, and I couldn't get my way up. And eventually, what happened was is just something inside of me told me, grab this crack. There was a little bitty crack running up the side. I grabbed that sucker and I clawed it all the way to the top. And I think that was probably one of the first times I've actually had a spiritual experience because, like, when I got up to the top, it was like before then, my life was flashing before me. But when I made it up to the top and I freaking knew that I was safe, it was like life, you know what I mean? You're going from, oh man, I'm gonna die to, oh man, I'm alive, you know what I mean? I was grateful. And I think that was one of the first experiences I've ever had when it comes to anything spiritual. My family, we weren't like religious. We were more of what people would call agnostic, And don't get me wrong, my mom and dad, they did their best to make sure that we went to Sunday school and stuff like that. But when it came to actually being religious and going to church because we wanted to and stuff, that just wasn't the way we are. We believed in God, but we just didn't practice like normal people would do who
yeah,
were religious. So at that point, that's kind of what I was thinking of. That would be one of the first times I can remember that a spiritual thing had happened to me. So, um, and you know, another thing too that I probably should mention to you is like I've caught myself here recently talking about saying that I've never seen UFOs and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But I and I think I've talked to you about this before too. Whenever I was right around that age, I lived there in Higley, and it wasn't anything, you know, like a overwhelm or exciting thing that happened when it comes to UFOs, but me and my sisters possibly did see one because back then, like I said, it was Higley, Arizona, and during the time, there was an Air Force base there. It was called Williamson Air Force Base. And from the time we moved it to Higley until the time we moved away from there, the Air Force Base shut down, and now it's called Gilbert Air Force Base. And you know, I catch myself saying that I didn't see UFOs, but I think that me and my sisters may have seen one out there. But you know how they show the triangular shaped ones?
Yeah.
I do believe that we may have seen them because freaking we were going to the barn to get milk because milkers get free milk whenever they work there, and my dad would send us up there every night to get the milk. And on the way, we both looked up and we seen one of those, and I just, you know, chucked it off as being an airplane. But even whenever we were looking at it, the weird part about it was that there was no noise. It was just sitting up there. There wasn't noise at all, you know.
Mm.
And my sisters uh, sometimes will bring it up, and I'll bring it up. But I mean, I never really stopped and thought about that stuff. And even today, I'll catch myself saying that, you know. So I just wanted to clear that up.
Mm.
That was that was one thing that I uh, I always mess up on because even today I do that. But
So, tell me, if you, what is your theory with UFOs? Then, do you think they're from aliens from other galaxies? Do you think,
uh,
as some people have, you have put a theory up that they're us from the future? What is your actual belief on it? Or do both? Or could it be
now,
both? You know, I don't know.
um, for me with UFOs, there could be quite a few theories behind it because I've actually done research on this stuff, you know, and
Yeah,
um, first of all, I have a hard time with believing a lot of the secret space program stuff
yeah,
because it's not because there isn't some evidence there, but it's because of the people who are saying some of the stories. There's issues going on in their life, and they they really do need to take care of it. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
And,
get you. Yeah,
and but other than that, there are some things that are worth looking at. So I could see, um, like, I could see that the government is hiding information and maybe reverse engineering UFO technology and stuff like that. I could see, you know, aliens that maybe have been shot down from sightings and stuff, and concrete evidence of UFOs being spotted. I can understand that, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But I'm not I'm not going to say that uh, aliens exist. I can say that UFOs, unidentified flying objects, have been sighted, not from just ordinary people either, but from like military career men and politicians. I mean, there's people that are high up in politics that have seen UFOs. The president, I think it was Jimmy Carter, he seen a UFO. You know,
mm,
uh, So when it comes to that, that's the way I believe it. And also, there's another guy that has a really good show, and he it's called what is it? New Thinking Aloud,
Right.
I believe is the name of it. He was actually on your group on Facebook too,
All
but
right.
he had this woman that was on his show that I really liked, and she was talking about paganism, and because she was a pagan, uh, what would they call him, the priest, I guess, or shaman, and she was saying she was talking about the crop circles, and she said, the thing about it is it's a new generation. People are into aliens and stuff like that, but you got to understand this stuff has been going all the way back. I
Mm.
mean, this goes all the way back to when the pagans were talking about uh, gnomes and trolls and stuff like that,
Mm.
and it was a big thing for these pagan villages to come together in the fields and celebrate for the harvest. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And she said that there could be, a connection there too. So I never really put that together until I seen that and I started thinking about it. I mean, it is a paranormal uh, kind of viewpoint. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's not the traditional UFOs or aliens. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
what if it goes beyond that?
Yeah.
So
So, what did you? Are you one of these people that, again, the theory goes around that the aliens were responsible for us as humans becoming what we are now, going from animals to being humans. Again, it's just a theory, what do you think about that? Do you think there's any chance that could be true, or do you think it's rubbish? Or
I I I've checked out some of the stuff, and be honest with you, it would be, in my opinion, more sensible that our DNA was changed at
yeah,
some point in
definitely agree with
history.
that.
Okay, if you take a look at the time period that humans have been on this planet and the time period that we've actually become smarter and gained all the technology we have, and
Mm.
you do that in percentage, we
Yeah,
don't even come up to 1%, you know, of the time period that we've been on this planet. And all of a sudden, within that 1%, we've learned how to go from, creating crops to going to the moon,
yeah,
you
I
know,
know.
and that's pretty quick. That's really quick. And I think that's where I stand on that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, I I don't want to know for sure because I wasn't back then, or I don't know for sure, I should say,
No.
because I wasn't back then, and they don't have proof backing that up. But I just seem, from my own perspective, that does just seem odd. That's one thing that really sticks by me. So
And what
I'd
about
have to.
thing? Sorry, go
Oh,
on.
go ahead. No,
I,
go ahead.
what about stuff like? Again, I was only reading about this yesterday. Modern man thinks we're modern civilization's been on 10,000 years, whatever. But others are saying no. There was other older civilizations, really advanced technologies were around way before that. We've now been wiped from the earth for whatever reason. What is your theory on that? Do you believe in like stuff like they say like lost city of Atlantis and other civilizations? I can't think of names offhand now. What is your view on that? Do you think that there's any
Um,
truth in that?
well, first of all, the carbon dating doesn't really go back very far. I think
Yeah.
the farthest they've gone back is like, I think it was like in the 65,000 years, I
Right.
believe, maybe farther, a little bit, but it's not very far.
Okay.
So when it comes to carbon dating, that's that's out. I mean, they're not going to find
No.
ancient civilizations from carbon dating in like Atlantis. Atlantis was mentioned one time by what's his name? Oh God,
Socrates? No.
no, it was Plato.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Plato, and he said that his great grandfather Soren or Solaris or something like that. Um, uh, Solon was the one that told the story, and that he said the story and he left it at that. He never wrote anything about Atlantis again. Um, the people during his time period didn't catch on to it, and it didn't become a fad during his
Mm.
time period at all. He was using Atlantis as an example because he was trying to endorse the republic. You know what I mean? For Greece, they were wanting a republic, and he was using Atlantis as an example in his writings, and that was all it was. It
Mm.
it didn't get popular until the Middle Ages. You know, when Francis Bacon uh, ended up writing the book The New Atlantis whenever the Americas were discovered, and that's when it kind of exploded and everybody started talking about Atlantis, you know.
Yeah.
So for me, I, I get a kick out of that because like I actually went back and I looked at the history on it, and it's like a new fad. Everybody's jumping on it, you know, and
Mm.
uh, I do get into the ancient civilization thing, but like there's things that annoy me, like why do people always start out talking about the Sumerians, then they go to talking about the Egyptians, and then automatically they want to jump over to South America and talk about the South American tribes, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And they all do it. And these are people who just copy one another, you know, and
Mm.
that kind of gets on my nerves. So it drives me nuts.
It's not something I've ever gone into much, to be honest. I just sort of scour articles about it. I've never really gone into it deep about it. Just sort of interests me a little bit. And
It is interesting.
you see
It
these
is
programs on
interesting.
Discovery and stuff about it. Or I don't know, not Discovery. It's one of the Discovery channels on like ancient civilizations, and they're going on this dramatic music, and then you watch it and think, well, you haven't really told me anything. All you got is dramatic
Yeah.
music, and this guy, coming up. I was gonna, did this exist? And you think, well, did it? You know, you can't really tell at the end of it. You know what I
what
mean?
about the what about the guy with the funny hairdo?
Yeah.
Did you see him?
I can't remember. I'm probably, yeah. I can't. It's been a while since I saw it now. Yeah,
The
but
ancient aliens guy.
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So, do you think then? Sorry if this is. I genuinely didn't think of these questions before I started talking to you. It's just sort of come to me as I go along. But do you think then there's aliens actually on this planet now? Do you
yeah,
think they're actually in this world now with us?
I believe that could be possible. Yes, I do. Um,
Yeah.
there's just too much. Everybody says, well, everything's just too chaotic, and no, it's really not. Okay, these governments, in the way that they're ran, are ran like in
Yeah.
in a process. You know what I'm saying? It's like you guys are having issues over there in the UK, and after you guys have those issues in the UK, I'll give it maybe 6 months and it starts happening here in the United States,
What
or
issues?
vice versa.
What issues are them? Because I don't watch the news or anything. I don't. I'm oblivious to half it. I don't know what's going on here.
Well, like like cryptocurrency, you know what
Oh, is
I
it? I
mean?
didn't even know that.
Yeah, they're cracking down on
All right.
cryptocurrency
I
platforms and
genuinely did
stuff
not
like
know that.
that. Yeah,
I know that
and
they're trying to censor Rumble and stuff like that. I heard they were they're bringing in some new law and some new thing which is supposed to block Rumble or something like that. I knew that was coming in.
yeah, that's happening in the UK, and then
Yeah.
over here they're going after Odyssey.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and just it seems weird that it's all happening at the same time,
Mm.
and then you take a look at just the way things are orchestrated. You know what I mean? Like, I can
Yeah.
see there being kind of a guiding force behind all of it. I mean,
Mm.
Russia is supposed to have such a hard time with the EU and the United States, but astronauts are still going up together on to the friggin' space station. Come on, dude, seriously.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Russians are going up there too.
Yeah.
It's none of that's changed, and they want you to believe that freaking the governments are staying out of the way when it comes to scientists and research, and when it comes to the International Space Station.
Mm.
Really, I mean, Russia owns the International Space Station. You know
Mm.
that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, just little bitty things like that. It
Yeah.
just you can kind of tell it, but yeah, I could see that we're being molded basically
Yeah.
into something, and I don't know if it's good or bad. I just know that we are being molded into something.
Well, my viewpoint on it is the media, powers that be, are trying to sort of push people different directions, and there's people then who, I suppose like myself, can see that this happening and thinking, hey, hang on a minute, why are we being pushed this way? Why are we being pushed this way and that way? And sort of say,
Mm-hmm.
no, that's not right. And it is where they could speak about us, like you say, Rumble and Odyssey and stuff like that. Then what happens? They try and be clamped down on them so that people can't speak up, can't have a voice. You know.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Shut us up.
yeah, I
That's
got
what they
something to
want.
tell you after that. I'm not going to say it on camera to do with Israel as well. I've just been told by a friend of mine I think he's due to be interviewed with me. He's a medium and stuff, and he's well into this stuff with we're talking about. But I can't. I'm not going to
Mhm.
say it on camera because otherwise I'm going to be censored. I can see it happening now, so I'm not going to say it on camera.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you off the video about it.
All right.
Um, yeah. So, any other spiritual events that have happened to you other than your near death
Well,
experience? Well, near death that happened.
I was kind of worried because I thought you'd really have me doing the hard stuff. So
I never
I'm
know what I'm going to say. I don't even know myself.
it's like I
You
was
know.
able to talk about aliens and good stuff like that. That's the easy stuff. To
Yeah.
be honest with you, when it comes to me, I have a real hard time with discussing the spiritual stuff because that really hits home for me.
Yeah.
Um,
I know. But you can talk about
the
whatever you want to talk about. I'm just
Oh,
asking.
it's
You know what
fine.
you.
I can bring it up. The second thing I'd say that really got me spiritually was when I sobered up. Um,
Yeah.
I I think that a lot of people overlook what thresholds are. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
with me, for me to actually want to change, and change is the big word. Okay, for me to want to change, I had to freaking go over a threshold, and that threshold consisted of pain. Right?
Yeah.
When the
Yeah.
when the pain got great enough, I said enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I wanted to change.
Yeah.
Um, and it doesn't just have to be freaking for pain. I mean, I think people go through thresholds in all areas of their lives now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like a doorway. And once you cross that threshold, your life changes and there's no going back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And where the spiritual principles that come into that aspect is like um, change. Okay,
Right.
people think that you can like sit still, and that's just not true. You
No.
either go
No.
forward or you go backwards. There's no sitting still,
No, it's not. No. I agree.
and I had to learn that, and I'm still learning that because I'll forget. Um, and That was where I was finally able to learn how to change. And how I learned how to change is I had to remain teachable. I had to learn the first three steps of the 12-step program I was in, which was honesty, open minded, and willingness. Well, see, for most people who are religious, they understand what that means. They understand that that just means being or remaining teachable. I have to remain teachable on a day-to-day basis so that I can grow.
Mm.
Yeah, and if I don't do that, then I'll go stagnant and I'll end up reverting to what I was before, which
Yeah.
happens in different areas of my life, So it's not just about drinking and doing drugs. It's about trying to be a better person for
Yeah.
myself, you know. But anyhow, I that was probably the second time when I finally did sober up. I went into rehab. I did a 3 month rehabilitation center. Got out, was in a halfway house, and then moved back home with my family. And I thought I thought my drinking and doing drugs was hard, man. I didn't understand how hard it was being sober and trying to stay sober.
Mm.
I mean that right there is an adventure. So
No, hats off
I
to you for this, for doing it.
and you know and earlier you were talking about something too that really rung out to me, and it was you know I had to learn the same lesson you was talking about other people. You know what I mean? It's okay for other people to go out and do that stuff. I
Yeah.
can sit and I can talk to them, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me personally, I can't do that, and that was one thing that was always impressed on me because that's still the obsession. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You have people that live their lives where they don't want to watch TV because of the beer commercials. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
I know.
if you're afraid of getting drunk because of a beer commercial, you still have a problem. You
Mm.
know, so I had to learn that stuff and allow people to be who they are and stuff. That's a
Yeah.
big deal. I don't push religion on people either because I and that's the direct connection I was telling you about. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's where a lot of uh, a lot of people have issues with the stuff I believe in because I don't believe that it's okay to force your ideas and your beliefs onto other people. I don't care if a woman has an abortion. I'm sorry, I don't. You know why? Because that's their prerogative.
Mm.
It's just, you know, it's not my right to judge that woman
No. I agree.
for doing something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So um, that's the way I feel about stuff like that. And when it comes to um, other things, like the way people decide to live their lives, just because they don't live it the way I live my life doesn't mean that they're less of a person or I'm less of a person. We're
Mm-hmm.
just going different directions, you know. So,
Yeah.
but um, that that was that's probably a big one for me.
Yeah.
Um, Now,
Oh, my phone's going off ding dong now.
yeah.
Sorry. I can't mute it because of the school, and I always have got to have it like close by.
Oh,
So
it's fine. If if you got to do something,
No,
let
no.
me know.
They ring me if there's anything ever wrong. That's just like Facebook or something. That is not important.
Yeah.
Nothing important there.
But I think the thing that I had to learn the most about that with remaining teachable was actually trying to learn principles. You know what I mean? Like first, I had to learn how to remain teachable,
Mm.
and then I had to freaking learn about humility. Um, and that's a big one. Everybody understands when you say that you're practicing humility, that
Yeah.
means you're just full of pride. You know what I mean? The fact that you have to practice it means that you got a big ego and you're full of pride
Mm.
automatically when you say it. So it took me a long time to figure that. I was running around telling everybody that I was wanting to or I was practicing humility, and they already knew. They're like, you just got a big head and you're full of pride. And I didn't understand that, like, pride is like one of the, or it is the freaking worst deadly sin. Out of the seven deadly sins they list,
Mm.
it's the worst. Like pride will freaking kill you, or it'll kill me at least. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If I don't keep it in check and try not to have a big ego about things in my life, and try to show a little humility whenever people are trying to, well, just in for everything.
Yeah.
I'm still not good at it. I've tried to be a humble person, but I can't do it. You
Well,
know.
I can sort of identify with that in a way. With, as you know, I'm a healer and stuff. A few years ago, when I really started, I call it Mark One healing, I suppose, properly doing it. I It started to inflate my ego. Then you could say, because I was helping a lot of people and successfully, and I sort of felt a bit like it was as COVID started then, and I started in my head thinking, oh, I'm not going to get it. I'm immune to it. I'm not going to get it. And I was really like, I was going on a bit of an ego trip. It affected me that way. Lo and behold, one day I got COVID. Had it for nearly 2 weeks. Not, thank God, it wasn't bad enough. I didn't go to hospital or anything like that, and I recovered from it. But it knocked me for six in my healing and stuff. But it made me more humble as a person. It gave me humility, and I never
Mhm.
ever got to the stage again since where my ego was inflated like it was then. And it was almost as if me having COVID that time put me back into balance in a sense, put me back on track. And even though I
Mhm.
hated having it, it was one of the worst experiences in my life. When I look back on it, it made me a better person, and um, I moved forward from it. And I really am, sort of grateful in a way that it happened because I don't, I was, I don't know, I'm a just better person for it, definitely.
Mhm.
Because I don't know what to say really, but it's just maybe a better person. I guess all I must say. And obviously, what you've gone through, I think you probably agree that you've become a better person from it all.
Yeah.
Must
I'm
have.
able I'm
Yeah,
able to speak to people now with respect,
yeah,
and like when you were talking there, that was another thing I had to learn about, like what a moment of clarity is, and spiritual awakenings. We were talking about that just
yeah,
before this. That's what I'm really used to, is these spiritual awakenings and moments of clarity, and
yeah,
like what you were discussing right there is a moment of clarity. It's,
yeah,
and that spiritual awakening, um, and how much of a spiritual awakening that is determined by you. It's not by me or anybody else. It's
yeah,
how it affected you. um, Now, I had a friend of mine who came over here the other day, and he was talking about how he was in a car accident, and he had to go to the chiropractor, let him pop his neck so he could freaking have it straightened out. And he's sitting there telling me all that stuff, and I hadn't seen him for like almost a year and a half. The last time I seen him, he was coming over to me talking about how he was seeing demons and stuff, and flipping out
Yeah.
and everything like that. And he was going and talking to another guy that I know who's really religious, and we all talk together, or we used to talk together on Facebook. And I told him, you keep talking to him and telling him what's going on and stuff.
Yeah.
So he leaves my house and he disappears for a while, and he comes back and starts talking about how he has to go to the chiropractor and all the things that happened to him. And just by the way he was acting, I could tell that he was actually straightened up a lot more mentally than what he was the last time I seen him. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And whenever he was done talking to me, I was like, man, I think that's probably a good thing that happened to you. And he kind of looked at me funny, and I'm like, he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, the last time I seen you, you was seeing demons and freaking out. And it's like, now you're
Yeah.
like talking about how much you love your wife and how much she's been by you and stuff like that. I was like, you've changed. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe that's what you needed. You needed to get in that car accident, and you needed to have to go to the chiropractor, and, because it woke you up. And he thought about it, and he said, you're right. Like,
Mm.
it's, and things like this, if you're not paying attention, it'll just pass you by with a it'll pass you by like a blink of the eye. You know what I mean? You won't
Yeah.
even recognize it.
Well, it
Good.
shows that you've become more aware to see this, because most people
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't even know to see that. You know
Yeah.
that you are seeing the bigger picture about his accident and what happened and how it changed him. Where he was initially defensive when you first said it to him, he said, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And then he opened up and he saw, "Oh, yeah, you're right." But you saw it
Mm-hmm.
because you're more awakened generally than he was to the situations around us.
Yeah.
That's a sign, of it. Like,
Just let me point this out too. I've known this man for years. I wouldn't tell it to just any
no,
ordinary Joe on the street. I probably got punched in the face if I
yeah,
said
yeah,
it to
yeah,
somebody else. But
yeah,
I've known him for a while, so I knew that, like, me and him, we think of ourselves as like brothers. You know what I mean? So whenever I said that to him, I was pretty sure that he'd be all right with it. But I just want to make that clear. Don't tell
yeah.
people stuff that's gonna get you punched in the face. So
Uh, I don't
don't
know.
cause harm.
Do you think? Well, first of all, do you believe angels exist and stuff like that? First of all, I'll ask you that question, and then I'll tell you why I'm going to saying that. If you tell me what you think first.
Well, um, I believe that we've been trained to call them angels.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
the what people refer to as angels have been around a lot longer than the term has been around.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I I believe that if there are angels, they're a lot older than the Christian religion or the Jewish religion. I don't know if the Jewish have angels. I'm not sure, but I know the Christians do,
Yeah.
and it kind of goes back with even Muslims. They believe in the genie and the jinn have been around way longer than the Muslims were. You know what I mean? They
Mm.
go all the way back to Persia and stuff. But um, yeah, I mean, if I don't know if they exist or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know that there's been a lot of discussion about it for thousands of years. So there's got to be something there. You know what I mean? Usually, if there's nothing behind it, you know, stuff that's talked about just disappears. People
Yeah.
don't talk about it no more, but they've been talking about angels for quite a long time. It goes all the way back to the Sumerians, believe it or not.
Well, the reason why I mention it is I see things sometimes in my mind's eye. I see things physically. And one day I was in Cardiff. My partner got her back treatment there. And there was a chap, a homeless chap, asking for money to get food. And I walked past him and I just, because I didn't have no cash on me, and I said, sorry, I didn't have anything. And I walked past him and I thought, hang on. I saw he I realised I was being tested. I just don't ask me how I knew, but I knew I was being tested, and I didn't know why. And anyway, I got money. I got change. I went to a shop just down the road, and I got change, and I give him the thing, and I realised there was something more than human. It was more than a human. It was something else. Uh, I think he had. It was. I don't know, it was an angel or what. I don't know, but it was something else. And then I saw that same person walking afterwards, and he was about average, say 5'5", 5'6". But what was with him, I was seeing in my mind's eye, was huge. 7, 8 foot. He was really big,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure I had wings. I don't know if you maybe, but I. So I don't know if it's an attachment. If it was, it didn't feel like bad to me in any way, but it felt to me that he had an angel with him, or was an angel in the sky. I don't know. It just felt that way to me, and I felt like I was being tested, just to give him, help him out, and I did help him out. And I saw him another time when I went back there,
Yeah.
and another time I went there, he was there, but this angel thing wasn't there with him anymore. Wasn't there. He was just him as a person. And again, it was all in my mind's eye. I should have asked Carmen about this. She'd have a theory about that, wouldn't she? you know.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's never
She's
happened before. Yes, it has happened before, but in different ways. And I felt like there's been sort of bad things with people then. Yeah, but this was just like a good thing. But I have seen like bad things with people. Again, and like attachments are huge. They're much bigger than a human being. Um,
Mhm.
and I don't know what it means because I've never really talked about it much. I don't think I've ever talked about it publicly till now. And I'm going to probably have people thinking, oh, he's a bit more of a fruitcake than I first thought he was. I don't care, you know.
It's
Um,
okay to be a fruitcake, John.
I
You
really
know,
don't care because I'm on a path to do whatever I've got to do, and I'm just trying to do my best to do it, So here we are.
exactly. Exactly. I
So
I know that like for me, a lot of the stuff that that everybody likes to discuss, like they like to discuss angels. They like to discuss um, you know, spirits, and they like to discuss, well, like healing, like you talk about, right,
yeah,
and stuff like that. You know, um, for anybody to say that that stuff is real or if it's not real is just out of line for
yeah,
me. You know what I mean?
totally agree.
Because um, it's not my place to say that that stuff is real or it's not real because I don't know. I mean, there's no proof backing it up, but there's no proof freaking denying it either, you know?
Yeah,
And like I said earlier, I mean, these things have been discussed for thousands of years.
mm.
You know what I mean? If there isn't something behind that, then why are they elite? I mean, why are they discussed? You know?
There's a saying in this country. I'm not sure if it's a saying in your country as well. There's no smoke without fire.
Right.
So
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Um, that by itself should have enough evidence, you know,
yeah,
even in court. You know, overwhelming circumstantial evidence
yeah,
is freaking enough to uh, make 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 a person guilty. So if you got like freaking 5,000 circumstantial evidences against you in a case, and they pile it all up against you,
Yeah.
there's a good chance you're going to get freaking charged with the crime you're committed with. So
Yeah.
you stop and you think about that, and then you look at like all the years that's gone by, and people have been talking about angels and healing. I mean, they even said Jesus healed the sick and the poor, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, so if they're willing to say that, then
Mm-hmm.
why is it they can't believe that a human being can do it? I believe he even said humans can do it,
Yeah.
you know? That
Yeah.
little girl that walked up and
Mm.
touched him, you know? It's in their books, it's in uh, their principles, what they believe.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
um,
True.
and another thing that I wanted to mention too about what you were saying with not pushing religion and stuff. I prefer to not even mention religion when it comes, or even spiritual stuff when it comes to like person to person conversation, because in the past I've learned that people really don't want to hear it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And for me to be of maximum service to my fellow man, I had to learn that sometimes you don't mention it. You you act it. You know what I mean? You are the one that's representing what you believe. So I can have a conversation with a person on spiritual levels without actually talking about spirituality or talking about religion, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I don't have to even say the word God. It's just a matter of how I carry myself and what I talk about when I'm having a conversation with a person. Um, Sometimes that's the best way to reach out and help other people. And being honest, I think that that's probably the most spiritual thing you can do is when you can reach out and help your fellow man. Um,
Yeah. Totally
you're,
agree.
you know, you can talk the talk all you want, but are you willing to walk the walk? You know,
Mm.
it's being of service to your fellow man, and trying to just be the best person that you can be, and that's really what it is. I would never suggest that anybody puts themselves in harm's way doing that, because you can
Mm.
do that, but you have to. I mean, you have to at least try. You know, um, I, that's basically how. Because I learned that back when I used to do what they called 13 steps, or the 13 step. Actually, I don't even think it's the no, it's no 12th step. 13 is where you start messing around with the girls in AA. I never got to do that. They didn't think I was good looking, so.
My
But
my mum used to my mum used to say to me I had a great face for radio. No, she did. Uh,
but but with the 12 step, they had me, go out and do 12 step work, and I met people that were just so amazing. Like I met this one guy. He had drank so much he had jaundice, and all of his skin was solid white, and
oh,
his liver was going out, and he was swelling up from it. So I had to go out and visit him, and we convinced him to finally start going to meetings with us. And I watched this guy over a matter of 3 or 4 years go through it, changing from that to somebody that was happy, actually
mm,
loved his family. His family loved him, and they were living a good life. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
that's really good.
that right there,
Yeah,
that's what it's about. So I really wish I actually uh, could be around some of those people now, but you know, we all go our separate directions too. So,
yeah,
so is that spiritual?
yeah. No, the whole this chat has been very, say, well, I don't know how to put it, express into words. It's been interesting, and it's like, yeah, I would say it's spiritual, definitely in different ways. You know, everyone's like, as I said before we started talking, everyone's different interpretations of spiritual and what it means. It's a big spectrum. It's not like um, you can't put it in a box. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is, isn't it? It's not for
Mm-hmm.
some as a guy that I'm trying to interview, which if he ever sees his Facebook, said to me once. He said we're all on different levels. Some of us are old souls, some are new souls, some are mid-range souls. Everyone's at different levels. Like he is on a level which I can't comprehend when he says stuff. I just can't grasp it. You know, it's above me. I know it's above me,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think any different of him than I do of someone who can understand what I'm saying because I'm maybe a level above them, or you know what I mean. Everyone
Yeah.
is different and everyone's got their own path, and it's one of the things I learned as I got older is to respect that, because when I was younger I didn't. I was my way or the highway. I was well, I knew best, and of course I didn't. But when you're young, as we said before, and when you interviewed me before, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at it as perspective from a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, 40-year-old, whatever. Your perspectives change as your experiences change. You go through stuff, and hopefully you become a better person from it all, you know, as life goes on. And I like to think I'm a better person than I was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I hope I am. Um,
Yep.
but maybe I'm not, but I hope that I am, you know. Striving to try to be.
See that that's a good point too, though, because we did talk about that, you know, and
Yeah,
it's like the thing that I'm really a stickler about is like um, experience and wisdom.
yeah,
Okay, a lot of people try to add that into knowledge and learning. Okay,
yeah,
and it's not the same now with with learning. There's certain levels that you go through. Like when you learn something, you do gain knowledge, but you
mm,
hit that level where all of a sudden your level of understanding kind of like goes up. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you hit a different plateau for the
yeah,
more that you learn and the more knowledge you gain. And understanding is great. Understanding a lot of things it does help you when it comes to things, but that's not the same as the experiences that you go through as a human being and the life lessons you you have. You know what I mean? That creates wisdom. That says, and it doesn't matter um, if you're talking about something positive or talking about something negative. You know,
yeah,
one of the dirtiest, meanest freaking biker gang members, head of freaking the Hell's Angels. He's got freaking wisdom in his particular way. His experience might not be spiritual and something that you'd want to know,
yeah,
but he's got it. You know, so I mean, I that's the one thing me and Karma have issues with. We've had like two conversations about it, and she doesn't understand what things that I say. Like when I say, you know, I can put a seed in the ground and I can give it water, but I don't have the power to make that tree grow. You know,
mm,
that's not me. That's me just giving him water and making sure that he's healthy. But I can't make that tree grow straight. I can't make that tree do anything other than what it's supposed to do naturally. So
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the nail on the head. It's the same with people, though, isn't it? You can't, you know, they've got their own. Everyone's got their own paths, and sometimes you can see that they're going down a path which is not good.
Yeah.
And you've gone, it's the same. Like there's people in the past I've tried to heal, and I been pushed back. Like say, no, you're not meant to heal, not then help this person. You think, well, why have the gift of healing and you can't help people? But it's not that. It's some people, their paths are almost set in stone in a sense. They're gonna have this illness to make them a certain person. Maybe they have this illness because it comes to their part of their life where they die and move on and what have you, or whatever you views on that. It's There's a reason for it all. Sometimes you're just not meant to. You you can just help so much to some people. Other people you can help a lot. It's just all to do with what they where they are, what their paths are, where they're going to end up on their life path now, and it's all different things which we don't obviously know, and we just do what we can, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was a person that I was good friends with had kidney cancer. I tried to help. I actually I could remote it onto her. I found her, and then it was just like push away. No, you're not meant to do it. Just told, not meant to do it at all.
Yeah.
Another time, I helped her with she was suffering through depression and stuff. Tried to help her with that. Helped her straight away. She thanked me the next day. She felt so much better, and I thought, well, how can I help you this way and I'm not allowed to help you? It's just the fact there was, for whatever reason, she had to go through that, and I wasn't
Yeah.
meant to help her, or maybe it would have affected me too much as well. Yeah, I don't know. There's loads of it because healing it can affect me as well. It can take it all out of me. It can affect me, and so I've got to be careful.
Yeah.
As Karma said, which she literally worded absolutely perfect. You're in a cocoon, she said. Life cocoon, and you're healing people. And sometimes, if you do too much, your cocoon sort of gets affected, and that's why I feel ill and stuff like that. And she's totally right. And maybe that would have been the case there. If I'd have helped that person, who knows how it would have affected me? Who knows? I don't know. But I'm never going to know now until maybe I pass away and then I'll get the answers. I don't know. But there we go.
Well,
So,
there's also another aspect you got to take into consideration too. Like with me, at the age I'm at, like when you were talking there, it made me think of the relationship I have with my parents right now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, People have mentioned to me, "Oh, it's so great that you're there taking care of your parents and stuff like that." But it's not as easy as what these people think. You know what I
of
mean?
course not, no.
You go through a lot of emotions that aren't really positive. You know what I mean?
Mm,
First of all, they're my parents, and um, I've been around them all my life. And me and my mom, we always driven each other crazy.
mm,
So there's always been turmoil between me and her, which usually that's what always happens with a son and their mom. There's always that turmoil. But when you have to be around them and take care of them instead of getting angry because
yeah,
of the weird stuff they do as old people, you gotta have a little bit of compassion and realize, look, this person isn't really right in their mind right now. So you need to kind of be there and just give them support. And
mm,
that's hard to do.
yeah,
That's really hard to do. Um, so that's where a lot of humility comes into play. And then where I was going with that, you look also at people around you, or at least I do, and I could become one of those mean, grumpy old men, which is pretty close,
I'm
but
born to be that.
but where I could be pissed off at my brothers and sisters, or my sisters and my brother, because they're not freaking, or my sisters, because they're not here, but they've got families. They got to take care of their kids.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore, but they've got their own thing going on.
Yeah.
Um, but I could easily do that, and I've been upset about some things, like it does upset me that they don't come and visit our parents as much as what they really could.
Yeah.
And those are things that I had to deal with, and that comes with age.
Mm.
Now, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I'd have been just like them. I'd have been running and gunning, wouldn't care about none of that. Just all I wanted to do was have fun. I look back at the relationship I had with my grandparents, and I could have been a better grandkid. You know what I mean? I could have been a better nephew to my uncles and the aunts, and I never even thought about it back then.
No.
Never even crossed my mind. So now I'm getting older and I see that, and I'm in their place. I mean, these young people, they don't want nothing to do with me no more. you know, they've hit their 20s and 30s, and they've got their own lives going on. They don't want
Yeah.
to hang out with Uncle Roger. So, and I've got to deal with it. So
Yeah.
that sucks too. You know, when you look or you start feeling like an old rat or an old rag, whatever, old hook on a rack. So, but you learn to overcome that. Um, it's a lot different when you get older and you start seeing that kind of stuff. So that's the best I can say about that.
Yeah. True. Funny.
Beyond, oh, go
Sorry.
ahead.
So you
Go
say
ahead.
about your relationship with your mum. My younger son and his mum, they're always bickering sometimes. It's trivial stuff. It's nothing, nothing major. But I just laugh because it goes from like total peace to World War Three in like seconds. And what the hell's going on? And it's like,
Yeah,
and you could be with me all
exactly.
day, and he won't bat an eyelid. And his mum's on 5 minutes. Bang, that's it. They're arguing. And it's still
Yep.
trivial stuff. It's nothing major, and it blows over like as quick as it starts. But it just makes me laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I go outside, but get the washing in, and I come back in, and then I just wrote, so what the hell's going on here? You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's funny, but
It's
obviously I don't know,
it's like that. My
yeah,
mom my mom can say stuff that make the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Just and she knows the right words to
yeah, yeah,
say. And bam, that hair is just on the back of your neck just stands straight up,
mm,
you know. And it's like tonight, um, she come out of her room and we're all I smoke outside and she has to smoke in her bedroom because my dad's on oxygen now. So we make sure that there ain't no cigarettes in
oh god, yeah,
the rest of the house. And she comes out and she's talking about this huge computer system that was supposed to be sitting on her table that you use to make cigarettes with. And she's had it for 10 years. I'm like, Mom, what are you talking about? You've never had it. And then she
yeah,
starts getting mad at me, you know? And I had to catch myself because I could have easily got angry right back at her,
yeah,
and I caught myself, and it finally passed because I understood, she's going through that phase.
mm,
So it's it's an eye opener. It makes you wake up.
yeah, true. Mm.
So did I bore you enough?
No, 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 you've been good. I don't know how long it's an hour and a quarter, is it? Wherever we've been
I
rabbiting
have
on.
no idea. I'm not in control of the OBS this morning. I feel
Yeah,
good. I'm like on
I
the
don't.
receiving end. This
I
is
can't
good.
see if I can't because I've got the Jitsi screen on my screens. I can't see the OBS. Um,
But
I think we'll wrap it up there, is it? Unless you've got anything you want to share, because it's been over. Okay, I'm just what I'm worried about is if I put videos too long, people aren't going to watch them because they're going to say, "Oh, they're on for an hour and a half or 2 hours." You know what I mean? And it's not been
Well,
too long, you know,
just say,
for that reason.
I'm glad we made it this far
Yeah,
without, me breaking out or freaking wanting to run out the door, because it's like I said. I mean, my spiritual stuff isn't really like, and I don't even really talk about it very much. You know that.
yeah, I know.
Um, but I
But
do that for a reason.
you're probably more spiritually developed aware than you probably realise. Because some of the things you've told me, I think, well, that's someone who's quite aware to know to do that, to know that, for sure. Because of your perspective of, say, your friend, when he went through the crash and had his neck done and stuff. That's that's a high level of spiritual awareness to be able to say, hey, you know, you're seeing outside the goldfish bowl more than with people who are not spiritually aware. They just see everything through the eyes of a fish, I call it, in a fish bowl, and
Mm-hmm.
then you see the people then see outside the fish bowl, and then you see the people who see, get to the truth and the source, the truth, whatever, of everything, and everyone's in their own different paths, what have you, to there, and links to
Yeah.
there. But you're definitely much more spiritually aware, perhaps maybe in what you think, or maybe you are aware of how aware you are. I don't know, I can't really say, because you're quite guarded. I think is that's the word,
Yeah.
of your
That's the word.
spirituality, which is totally fine. Everyone is what they are. We are what we are. Um, you might think I'm a bit out there, some of the stuff I say, which is fine.
No.
I am what I am. I don't really. I really. I don't say I don't care. Maybe I just don't. I've just got to the point where I did used to hold back, and I just think, well, no, why should I hold back anymore? What's the point? You know, I'm
Yeah.
I'm meant to be on this path for whatever reason, and if I say one thing that helps one person just sort of get off the floor and think, yeah, okay, I'm gonna get on with my life now, I think, well, yeah, I've done something right. That's the way I view it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, I'll tell you what. If I thought that way about you at all, I wouldn't have hung out with you this
yeah,
long.
I suppose, yeah.
For like,
You
I
feel
mean,
sorry for me or something.
me and you've known each other what, ten
Yeah,
years
I know.
now, at least, since since Facebook. I know you had your Facebook group like 2.5 years before I even started mine,
Mm,
and then I got the bright idea to do freaking the group thing. But I know you had your group for
yeah.
quite a long time, and I really can't remember where we met. To be honest with you, I
Um,
I think we were video gaming together on Facebook, maybe.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. Not either.
Isn't that
I really
weird?
can't. No.
I,
I don't think
I,
it's.
I really don't know where we met.
Don't know either.
It's
I
strange. That's pretty strange.
not sure. I know we used to share some of your stuff on my Facebook group, but I'm not sure if you did that after you were admin, or before it, or I can't, or
It
both. I
was
can't remember
after.
now.
It was
Not
after
sure.
I was afraid because I thought Karen was gonna say mean stuff to me.
Right.
So I
Oh,
had
Carol,
to
you mean, is it? Carol.
I had
Yeah.
to wait.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then for the longest time I wouldn't freaking go through and see who should be added and who shouldn't be added because I didn't want to add the wrong person.
Yeah, I know it is difficult to know.
So
You've technically got to be standing judgment of the person you're adding, and you think, well, you've got to really, because you've got to, you can't upset the apple cart. You've got to try to.
yeah.
I know the group is pretty much dead now, because since it's not. I'm trying to sort of reinvent it a bit, try to get a bit of life into it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. But it doesn't matter. It is what it is. It's got three
Mm-hmm.
thousand members. If it picks up, good. If it doesn't, then what's it matter? It doesn't really matter
Three
to me.
thousand's pretty good though.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good, yeah. But we'll just see what
That's
happens. But
really
a lot
good.
of the admins have gone. Oh, Carol Norton has left. She's left Facebook, or she's blocked me. One of the two, I'm not sure. But none, we can't find her anymore on Facebook. Me and Carl Johnson can't find her. And so you've left there, and there was another chap, Steve. He's left. He changed his profile. He's no longer a moderator with us now because he's got a different profile. So I'm not sure what'll happen. Which is, I whatever will be will be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But same with his interviews. I said to you, I feel guided to start them. It initially started for you interviewing me. I told you that. It's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It triggered something. It opened something up in me, and now I feel that I've got to go this path. And I say I'm not sure what it's going to lead to. I don't know, but I know that I've got to go this path. So just see what happens.
Yeah, I think you inspired me too, though. I think we should start a little round table where we have me, you, and a couple other people, and we call it Old Men Talking.
Yeah, that's the name of the room.
I think that's a good
great
idea.
title, isn't it?
That was a really good name.
Yeah.
You just
that's sort of bad though, because we can't then have any women in it then, because it's going to be, you have to change the title if you want to have old.
We could
old persons
but,
talking.
But no, we could have old men talking, and then we could take like old pictures from back, like Jack Benny and Benny Hills and all that, and we can ask them if they recognize the pictures and if they can name them.
I wouldn't know them, to be honest, because I'm in the UK. I don't know the baseball.
Well, Benny Hill.
No, not so familiar with that over here. But then again, if I went to soccer with you and I said, right, do you know that soccer play? You'd probably think, who the hell's that?
I wouldn't know anything about it.
Yeah, so so it's different worlds in a sense, isn't it? I know 3,000 miles away, whoever far it is from America to UK, I don't know, but it's usually in the world, really.
We could show the old push mowers without the motors.
Yeah.
See if anybody knows what that looks like. Stuff like that. Like I've never used one, but I know what they look like. Today, you show a 20-year-old that, and they'll be like, "What is that?" So.
Yeah. Well, I had to explain to my son the other day. He saw a record on a picture. He said, "LP, record," and he said, "What is that?" Because he didn't have a clue. He'd never seen it before. He didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I was like, well. They were big in the day when I was young. They've come back now, thankfully, which I'm really glad to see. Because that's one thing I want to get when my son's older. Is I want to get my own hi-fi with a record player and stuff again. But obviously I can't now because he's too young and he'll probably break the records or break the stylus or something. So I can't risk it yet. But when he's older, I'll do it for sure.
Yeah.
So there we go. I think we'll wrap this up then. That's okay with you?
Yeah. It's okay with me.
Maybe an hour and a half, which is for someone who doesn't like talking about spiritual stuff. I think we've done too bad, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I didn't expect that.
No, I didn't actually. I just, when it started off, I thought, I don't know, maybe we're not going to be talking for long. And especially when I started off and I said the wrong thing. It's like, I think I know where I got it from now. We were talking, I think, because you, with hindsight, I think you were talking about from when you gave up the alcohol and drugs, the healing after that. I think that's where I got that from when you were talking. That's why I said that at the beginning. I think that's what that's where I got my wires crossed. But there we go. Okay, then, bud. I'll close this off then. And,
okay. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem. I'll see you soon.
Later.
Laters. Get off this now. Oh.